A very good morning and welcome back to another daily market outlook. Euro dollar pushed further in towards the upside yesterday and back in towards our area of interest, which is this area of supply. For today, I'm waiting for that next decisional move. Obviously, I would prefer a continuation in towards the downside in line with the overall trend. We've been creating lower lows and lower highs. However, we have to keep in mind that after tapping in towards this area of 4-hour demand and seeing that 4-hour BOS, we do expect a pullback, which we have been seeing. Now, my preference definitely is to see that further downside continuation. Most preferably is that we take out this swing high over here, see a change of character. This becomes your change of character low. Then we break in towards the downside. So this is kind of your last grab of liquidity, pullback, and then downside continuation. That would be the perfect world. However, we have to keep in mind that there is a red folder news today. So most likely what will happen is we're either just going to see a massive impulse in towards the highs or a massive impulse in towards the lows. Let's say that the news on the dollar is negative and your dollar does in fact shoot in towards the highs, then my next target will most definitely be this area of supply situated over here. So that's what I'm waiting for on euro dollar. If the dollar does push down, then we'll see that area of supply get hit most likely. Otherwise, what I'll be looking for is just in line with the overall trend, a further short in towards the downside in the anticipation that the trend will continue and that we will create a new lower low. Going in towards the daily real quick, the overall daily fractal structure is also still bearish. So as long as we respect the high over here, we do expect a continuation of euro dollar in towards the downside. Same goes for the 4-hour. Let me just quickly check. No, so the 4-hour is now fractal bullish, excuse me. So what happened is that down below over here, we broke this fractal high of this bearish candle, meaning that we then flipped bullish on fractal structure. And that was kind of the confirmation that we were ready to push up and continue in towards the highs. Now, this is currently your fractal low. If that low were to break, then obviously there's far more confirmation that we will continue in towards the downside and see that new lower low. But that's what I'm waiting to see. And hopefully we'll see a sweep of that high, then a pullback, and then downside continuation. So that holds my preference for today. Going in towards the 15 minute is currently just consolidating slightly. Yesterday there was a lot of momentum. We just respected this area of demand and continued further in towards the upside from there. Now this morning what we saw was pretty much a change in the overall character of price. So internally you pretty much had this high and this was the low. So you get the push up, you get the pullback, you get the push up, and then boom, a break of this low, which is this low over here. We pull back in towards this buy before the sell candle, and from there we start selling off during midnight. Now, what I'm looking for is for the downside continuation this morning, at least in towards here, and then from there you can either look to play again a pullback, but if we continue to break those levels, then I will be looking for that further downside in line with that overall internal structure. It's what I'm going to be looking at. So that's euro dollar for you. Now going in towards the dollar index. So the dollar index over here is now on the 4-hour inside demand. So what we can clearly see is that we just continued down lower and lower. Nothing really strange. We just moved back in towards this refined area of demand over here on the 4-hour time frame. Nice to see, and straight away seeing a reaction. So if demand is to hold, we should continue further in towards the upside. Maybe with news we'll spike out this low and then reverse further up in towards this area of 4-hour supply. So that's what I'm looking for. If we do break this low over here on the 4-hour time frame and we close below it with news, then I will be looking to target this area of 4-hour demand in towards next week, which is also in line with that overall upside target on euro dollar. Now going in towards Aussie dollar over here. So the 4-hour time frame, we're currently in supply, so still bearish fractal structure wise and swing structure wise. So everything is indicating that we should continue down lower, building up a lot of liquidity below this trend line over here, chopping in towards the highs. So I am looking to see a further drop from Aussie dollar today. Now going in towards the 15-minute time frame, then what do we want to see? Well, we want to see a flip in the overall structure. So at the moment, the overall internal structure is just continuously bullish. So breaking the high, breaking the high, breaking the high, breaking the highs. And now over here, we pretty much have our, let's say high of interest, which I would preferably want to kind of like see broken and then pushing towards the downside. There's still a lot of liquidity resting between these equal lows over here, a kind of rangy price action. So what I'll expect is that maybe we take out the range high and then, for example, start dumping in towards the downside towards this range low. What I'm looking for obviously is that further downside from Aussie dollar for the rest of today. If you want more confirmation, just wait for this low over here to get closed below, or just wait for this low to get broken, pullback, continuation. So that's that. Let's say that dollar news is in fact negative and Aussie dollar just continues to push up higher. We have the same target as on euro dollar, that supply zone over there, from where we will be looking for a short. So moving on in towards pound dollar. So pound dollar over here on your screen is still bearish fractal structure wise. So we can still see that this is your high over here. This is your low. So still looking for further continuation in towards the downside from that supply zone. So let's see if we can in fact get that further downside continuation today. So that's what I'm looking for on pound dollar. Daily is still bearish. 4 hour is also still bearish for myself. From this high in towards this low, we pull back in towards the 50% mark. So just to make it clear, this high in towards this low, we pull back in towards the 50% mark and the 618 fib, and then we continue down lower. Now the overall trend, and it will be more obvious on the 1 hour time frame, is just creating lower highs and lower lows. So lower high, so this is a high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So from here I'm just looking obviously to short and continue in towards the downside on pound dollar. So yeah, go in towards the lower time frame and just look for those shorting opportunities. For now, the 50-minute structure is still bullish, so keep that in mind. It's pretty much similar to Aussie dollar. We broke this high, so this is now your low, this is now your high. So as long as this structure kind of holds, don't short yet. Just wait for structure to break and then continue in towards the downside. So that's pound dollar. Now going in towards NZDUSD. So NZDUSD, yeah, moved all the way up yesterday with news in towards this supply zone. It did in fact break this fractal high, but looks more like liquidity sweep for now. As we can see, price is currently stalling inside this area of demand. This area of demand is the demand zone which broke this high over here with this wick. So this is why price is currently stalling inside of there. So now what I'm waiting for is for the market to start showing its hand and to break this area of demand. If that area of demand breaks, then I'll have the confirmation that we are ready to continue in towards the downside. So that is that from NZDUSD. For now, we're pulling back in towards this supply zone. If you're happy with aggressive sells, you could look for a sell inside here. But personally, a little bit risky, but still a lot of trendline liquidity resting below these lows. So I wouldn't be surprised. If you want more confirmation, just wait and see the trendline get broken, supply created over here, and then continue to look for sells. If you don't like selling, for example, from here. Because also keep in mind that we are still inside of this area of 4 hour demand. So it could just continue to push price up higher. Because overall, Kiwi dollar is kind of still stuck in, let's say, this overall range, right? We're just moving sideways. So keep that in mind that we're now kind of like in the middle of the range. So it's better to wait on the lower time frame if you do in fact take trades, to just wait for a little bit of extra confirmation. Because for now this area of demand is still holding. But yeah, let's see if this area of supply means anything, pushes price down, breaks the low, breaks the trend line, and then continues all the way back down in towards, for example, this area of fresh supply demand, excuse me. Now going in towards gold, because gold is one of the better pairs which we've seen this week. Reacted beautifully to this area of 4 hour demand, which we had marked out over here since the beginning of the week. Yeah, I mean, we pulled in towards there, saw a change of character, and then obviously have continued in towards the highs. So still looking for continuous upside on gold, at least back up in towards that area of 4 hour supply, which is located pretty much just begins over here. But if we refine it, obviously it will be over here. So what I'm looking for is a push on gold in towards the upside still, at least in towards 2016.95. So that's what I'm looking for on gold, still for the upside. Been calling upside since over here. So yeah, let's wait and see gold still rally up higher in towards that area of supply. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic day and speak soon.